Okay.
All right, guys, so today we are going to be doing the flat wrap, okay? And this is what it will look like when you guys are finished. I'm going to start backwards and comb her down. So normally, of course, you have the few options whenever we're deciding to do a flat wrap. This is usually done on a client, like I said, that has either a relaxer and they want to maintain their hair, okay, at night, or they're coming to the salon and they say, look, my hair's been really, I know I just got or the stylist might decide maybe that client has a relaxer, but they have color as well, and the hair's not in the best condition, and so they really don't want to use a lot of heat. Maybe the client does not want to use a lot of heat on their hair. They can use their head as a roller, okay, and they can wrap, while the hair is wet, the stylist will wrap the hair around the head to create what we call a C-shaping. So we learned that whenever you're rolling up something, you're either going to come out with a C-shaping, a curl, or a wave, okay? If the hair wraps around the head, at least one and a half turns, you'll end up, am I saying it right? At least one turn, you'll end up with a C-shaping. If you want to wave, it should wrap around the hair at least 1.5 turns. If you want to curl, it should wrap around the head, around the tool, at least 2.5 turns. Okay, so depending on what you're trying to create, for this is just trying to maintain a bend or bevel on the hair. So let's imagine I wrap my client's hair. When I get ready to, after the hair dries, I will go in and take a little bit of product and just rub it on my hands and wrap it around this client's hair. Okay, and I'm going to loosen up this wrap because I use this styling foam to set her with, and it has a little crunch to it. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this up. By running my fingers through it. Okay. Then I'm just going to take my comb and follow the wrap to continue to loosen the hair. So why did I choose to do this flat wrap? Because of, for what reason? My client did not want what in her hair? To use what? Heat, right? Okay. And no volume at all. No volume, just straight up sleek. Stop running away from me, Miss Janice. That's what you said you wanted. I might have to use a little bit of heat, Miss Janice, honey, but side trick. I'm about to play around with this a little bit, guys. Pleasure. So this is the part that the client usually will have a lot of issues with because it's designed, I wrapped it this way. So I have to tuck it just a little bit. I'm going to try to tuck this behind her a little bit. Chris, will you grab me a little bit of hairspray? She's gonna get a little soft to kind of keep that control behind her.
It's on the right. Wearing black model. Which one do you want?
Oh, let me get that flexible. Good, you can't see because your head is in your eye. All right, old school Aaliyah. Y'all know nothing about Aaliyah. Who know anything about an artist named Aaliyah? A singer, you know about Aaliyah? She used to wear this flat wrap. She had really long hair. And she used to wear a flat wrap and wear a swoop over her eyes. It's like the 90s look. Early 2000s maybe.
I used to wear the swoop thing.
Did you? That swoop. Alright, so this is our end result. We have a little swoop going around. But as you can see, there's a bevel on the end. Okay? The relaxed hair would not naturally bevel like this without some type of heat, some type of tool, something that kind of force it to bend down just a little bit. This is something where I can wrap and style my client that want their hair basically flat iron, really, and create this look. Now, one flaw to this, or downfall, is that it takes a long time to dry. So we had, I could flat wrap a client, put them underneath the dryer and do highlights or do a color or do something that I had an hour to kill basically. So I can book another client to come in and do another service in between that client going underneath the dryer. One thing with the flat wrap, it will close the cuticles. So if the hair is looking frizzy or anything like that, and this client has a relax, that might be an option where I want to make the hair look look healthier. Okay, so I might decide to go in, but as you can see, this cuticles are nice and sealed down. It looks nice and smooth, not a lot of flyaways or anything like that, but it is in your wrap. So if I do a wrap that's bunched up and kind of not smooth, then I'm going to end up with a style that's not smooth. So everything is based on your canvas that you're working with. Whenever you work creating this wrap, you definitely want to make sure that your work is the hair is nice and smooth laid down on the scalp. So how did I do this? I'm going to wet my client down. She would have been, of course, shampooed. Mary Ann, will you grab me a towel? This neck right here.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Say she had, because you said that she needs some perm. So say she her roots is curly, and you lay it down flat.
Yes,
Still
will not.
have that curl?
That would not be my style of choice for that client.
Okay.
Now, if that client, I wouldn't do a flat wrap, but I would mold that client straight down. So I might use a bit of product. I can do this, but I just don't like to fight with those curls once it's drying. It's going to dry into that curly position. I'd rather just blow that client out and flat iron that client. But if I'm trying to stop, not I won't say stall, if I want to remove some of that moisture. So what Tatiana is saying, if a client comes in, they're due for a relaxer. Okay, so that means they have new growth. Okay, that's extremely curly, and then they have their ends. This would not be my style of choice, my foundation of choice, because I'm going to fight with those roots, trying to slick and push them and mold them down. But if I want to remove some of that moisture before I go in and blow out my client, I will put a leave-in conditioner in the client's hair, straighten it, go through, and I will brush out like a detangling comb or detangling brush, get it nice and smooth and kind of hook and mold the edges so that they'll get nice and smooth. And then I'll just let everything else kind of stay, just kind of poofy a little bit. So when I go to blow it out, that can kind of shape it and mold it and set it in the direction that I want it to go. But I still have work to do, just straightening the roots out and following back up with my flat iron. After I do that, then I will wrap that client, put them up underneath the dryer, and do maybe like a silk wrap. Maybe put a little drop of silicone or dimethicone. Really not silicone because it's so bad on the hair, but some dimethicone, just a little drop. Put maybe like a saran wrap on the client. It sounds funny, but it's sealing the cuticle down for that client who might have some type of damage going on to their hair. Once again, this is a style that I would use for if my clients have extremely curly hair, I flat iron the client, and I'm doing this wrap dry, or if that client has a relaxer. Okay, they were previously curly, got a relaxer. The relaxer is called the insulate really, really flat and straight. And I want to mold it so it will have a bevel and kind of take the place of my flat iron. Alright, so with this right here, if I do it wet, okay, as you can see, there's no volume in this style whatsoever, okay? baby. I hope you ain't taking this on social failure today. Alright, so the hair will be completely wet. We brought my client from the shampoo bowl. Then I'm going to use some product, okay? Our product of choice today is our Silk Elements Strengthen Silk Foaming Salon Lotion. We also have, I do believe, I'm not sure of the brand. We have another type of foam as well. I like using the styling foam to set with when I'm doing the flat wrap wet, because there's not a lot of dripping from the setting. Like setting lotion would have a lot of the hair would drip a lot, okay? Foam tends to dry a lot quicker than your setting lotion. And they have a lot of emollients or ingredients in it that's going to help kind of glide and make the wrapping process really easy, okay? So some of you guys, I'm sure, looking like that's a lot of product. This product is going, so if I am wrapping, I want to make sure that I'm using, for me, I prefer a lightweight product that does not have a lot of crunch. This has a little bit of crunch to it, not a lot, but I still want the hair to have some softness when I begin to comb it down. I don't want it to feel stiff and straight, if that makes any sense. This product is also going to help the hair to stay in position. All right, honey, you're going to have to hold your head real tight and straight. All right. Now, I'm going to detangle first. And then I'm going to place a part as if, at the apex, as if I'm going to create a bang, okay? It's going to be a horizontal part right back here at the apex. Just a small, nothing wide. And I'm going to comb the hair in the direction that it grows. I'm just going to comb it all straight down from where it grows. So this little guy, a slight little part, horizontal part, as if I'm combing the hair forward like a bang, okay? This is going to prevent this big old bulge of hair. If I try to just go straight around and start wrapping, it's going to create a bulge. So I want to go forward and around. So I'm preparing the hair to wrap. I'm not ready to wrap yet. If the hair is stiff, if the hair is not controlled, if the hair is hard to comb through, you're not ready to start wrapping. Okay, so if you feel like you're tugging at the hair, you're only going to create a big mess. Get the hair detangled, get the hair nice and soft and I'm going to say glidable, is that a word? So that it can ease the hair, so that the comb, it can easily glide through the hair. So start with a fresh, clean palette that will allow you to move easily through while you're working with the hair. So I combed out and got the hair situated with like my wide tooth end. Then I'm going to go in and switch to this comb right here where I have both my fine and my wider teeth, okay? I'm going to start off, for me, I'm going to have the hair going clockwise. You can decide if you want to do it clockwise or counterclockwise. I'm going clockwise. So since I'm going clockwise, I don't like to create a big part, but just a little small area so that I can divide it up, okay? So I came really as far as I could over to the corner over here. And I'm going to push forward and begin to wrap my fingers and press the hair as if I'm doing it around her forehead. So forward and around, kind of creating what we call a shaping. And I'm just kind of using my non-dominant hand to help smooth that hair around. And I'm going to continue to come around and go down and around as if I'm swooping the hair slightly towards the ears, but away from them. I don't want a big bulge of hair like stuck in this corner, so I'm just taking little small pieces and gradually working this hair back. The hair is talking to me. It's starting to fall, so I know I'm going to either need A, some water, or B, some of this foam, okay? So instead of me wasting my time and my clients, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I need to do. Add some more product to it. Because it's separating at the scalp and I don't want it to separate. I want it to look nice and smooth. You have to know your products and what you're working with to be able to keep building on this with this product. So I know that I can build with this Silk Elements right here. The other product that we have, I really can't build as much. It's going to start making the hair sticky and kind of gooey. This product will not do that. I'm going to continue to wrap around the head, coming from the top down, okay? Just kind of smoothing that hair around and working in sections. I kind of work my way back to get the rest of these ends. I can only start wrapping once the hair is smooth and I have gained control of it. So I'm not going to move out of this area until I have complete control of this area and until the hair is nice and smooth and I don't have a lot of spaces or gaps or breaks in this wrap. Once again, this wrap, you definitely want to have your ends nice and sealed. If it's bunchy or kind of scrunched up in some areas like this, my client is going to see it and it's almost going to be pointless to do it. So if it's really bunched up, I'm going to definitely have to go. It's going to set and dry that way because of those hydrogen bonds, and it's going to end up setting like that. So I will definitely have to go back in and smooth with a flat iron if I don't have a nice smooth wrap. So I want to go back in and just continue to smooth over the area. Dominant hand comb, non-dominant hand my brush, basically. I kind of grab this bottom area and keep smoothing until it sticks to the scalp, basically. Keep smoothing it, keep smoothing it. And I want to continue. Now I'm just kind of scooping, using my finger just to kind of press and hold that till I can gain control of this area over here. Trying to get it smooth enough so that I can add it to this hair without disturbing it, okay? So I'm working my way from the top, from that center up here, and working my way down to gather the remainder of the hairs down here. Neck strips all up in the hair. I'm just moving it up slightly, just a little bit, because I have too much hanging at the back, at the nape area down here. I'm just gathering it and just gliding it up a little bit higher, so it doesn't take her forever to dry. And now this is what I'm working with in the front. I'm so sorry, Miss Janice, I'm hurting your eyes. So I want to continue to add this on, and it's kind of on her forehead. I just don't want a big old thick clump of hair sitting right at the top of her head. So I'm spreading and using all this little area. Hopefully she didn't have her face beat to the gods before she came, because I just messed up all her foundation. I'm so sorry. And I shouldn't have been taking my hand off this hair. Flattening this area out, smoothing it down. And now I'm going to lightly, okay? I'm not going to mess too deep. I'm going to coast over the top with my comb. Just nicely, just kind of rake it until it starts blending. Because if I just dig, I'm going to disturb all of this and might have to start over. I ain't trying to do none of that, okay? So I want to kind of lightly just blend this in. Right. And then I'm just going to take my comb. I'm not digging deep. I'm just making sure everything is good and smooth. I ain't even going to mess with it no more. I'm just going to take my hand and begin to just kind of seal it around. Alright, so we have a flat wrap, okay? Now I'm going to take this, if I don't do the next step, then I'm going to end up with, this is the last one here. Alright. Carissa, can you take me out one more of those? You can use it. So, to keep this wrap so it doesn't start drying and falling like mine was falling at the beginning, I'm going to take a thin neck strip because the client's hair is going to dry with this. I'm going to take a little bit and place it right here. Take the wrap. And sometimes I'll say, Miss Janice, can you put your finger right here for me, honey? Can you just put your finger right here? Sometimes we can dampen it a little bit and get it wet so that it'll stick. But I'm going to stretch it in the direction that I wrap. The only reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to put an indentation or anything on my flat wraps, okay? So that's why I don't use clips. The clips, if it dries with the clip, you're gonna see that little clip print on the hair. So that's why we're using the neck strips. So the first one I wrapped to keep it there, and I went in the direction that I wrapped it. This one, that's just to block it. So when I come in here and do this and tie this knot, I don't end up with the, so I do the first one flat, the second one, I just tie a knot, and now she's ready to go to the doctor. And I'm just playing. So now she's ready to go underneath the dryer. These hooded dryers right here is where your client will sit. They will sit underneath the hooded dryer. Anywhere, depending on the density of the hair, anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. You might find a client with short hair that'll dry in 30 minutes, but everybody else with the length of hair that my client has, it's gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour to dry. So this is old school, back in the day, what we used to do, but clients actually maintain their style this way. So instead of doing it wet, your clients will maintain that look, that if it was a nice sleek bob or something, they might maintain that look by wrapping it dry at night, okay? So those are the reasons: flat wrap, sleek, flat iron type look, prevents you from using a lot of heat, and yeah, and it's also used to maintain your style.
How would you do it dry?
Why would I do it dry?
No, how?
I would do the exact same thing, but instead of using these combs, I'll use a paddle brush, and I'll use that black brush that you guys have. I think it's like your 5-row brush, 7-row brush, or something like that. You're more of your board bristle brush to smooth it. So that's going to be another class.
You still do product?
Say it again.
You'd still do like product?
Yep, I'll still just use a dab of this. Okay, now a lot of
times stay there.
it will. Okay, it will. So once you go in, just like when we, instead of combing the hair back, this is what we call a doobie wrap. Well, I'm not even gonna say a doobie wrap. I'll just say, just a regular set. Yeah, really a doobie wrap. So we got two versions of a doobie. A doobie, let's imagine I want some volume, but I want some sleekness around the front. Then we would do a half wrap. So instead of wrapping the whole thing, I would take out part of this. Okay, and this is not what answering your question. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay. I would do it wet, but I would roll with some really big rollers this halo section of the head. That's going to give my client volume, okay? Everything else would be wrapped. So I would take off what I'm going to roll. I like to wrap first, then roll. So I would like to take out the section of hair that I'm going to create for volume and a few curls, really for volume. I'll go ahead and get that clipped out of the way, flat wrap so that this area can be nice and smooth, and then go in and do my roll. After we take that out, then we brush all of that out and we wrap it together. Another version is taking all of the hair and rolling it on really big rollers. There are some rollers about this size. There are some rollers anywhere from your red to your purples, your gray rollers. They're really, really big. You might roller set the whole entire head. Okay, after we roller set the entire head, then we will brush everything out. But after we have it nice and brushed out, then we'll go in and begin to smooth it and wrap it. The ends are going to help, the curl ends will help to keep it sealed and locked. That's going to, instead of teasing, having to go back and tease and back comb and all of that, this is for that client who prefers not all that, you not really don't want to do all that teasing with your style. But I want to reduce some of the curl. I don't want all those curls. So I will flat wrap that. Use a few drops of this, take saran wrap and go over it and lay it over the hair to flatten out the curls even more, and it's going to separate the lines and divide the lines up, but that you can definitely go in and curl it and wrap it dry. The support of the curls will help it. Now, straight at night, my client may not have curls. So at night, my client will wrap it dry without all those curls in the hair, and along the way, they may have to use clips, okay, to kind of help keep it in place as they're wrapping it. Once they get the hair wrapped, they're going to take a real scarf, okay, and wear that scarf and wrap the scarf around their hair and kind of tie it up. They're going to sleep in that scarf. So when they wake up in the morning, they'll remove the scarf, take a comb like this, and comb it and style it how I styled it at the beginning of the video. And then that way they can wake up and style their hair and not have to keep putting that heat and keep, damaging their ends, at the end of the day. So that's that client who really does not like a lot of heat in their hair, and they just want to wear it kind of flat and straight. The wrap is what they're doing at night. Okay. Anybody have it? That was a really good question. Anybody else have any more questions? Y'all good? All right, so Miss Janice, I'm gonna put her underneath the dryer. We already saw the comb out, but I'm gonna put her in the dryer and let her get dry. You guys can pick up where you were, finish off where you left off at, and then boom, y'all can go into shampooing and shampooing and conditioning your manicure and get her
We
right.
gotta eat lunch first.
Say that
We
again.
gotta eat lunch.
It's 12:30 now.